So there's a spicy chicken sandwich trending right now online. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna make my own version of it and compare it. Now people might think I'm throwing shade, and they would be correct. Yes, I am throwing shade. Now this is not an attempt to replicate the sandwich. This is me making my own version of it, you know, the way that I would like to enjoy a chicken sandwich if I had to buy one. The very first step is prepping the chicken, and I'm going for real Trini flavors with this sandwich, and also choosing the right ingredients to get very precise flavors and textures. So for that local flavor, I'll be using a couple bundles of shadow benny, aka culantro. We'll be also using garlic as our aromatic of choice, and some scotch bonnet pepper powder. And like I said, I'm going for a real Trini flavor and a real home style finish to this fried chicken. So to make this powder, I use a dehydrator, but you could use an oven as well. Just pop some chopped scotch bonnet pepper into our oven at 115 degrees for about 10 hours. Once they dry out, put them into a food processor and grind them into a powder. And boom, you have scotch bonnet pepper powder to use at your leisure. Now if you don't have the patience for making your own pepper powder, you could check out a few select supermarkets or the artisan markets where a few local artisans have been producing pepper-infused salts. You get the heat with that local flavor rather than using cayenne pepper or chili powder. And the first order of business is to create our seasoning blend. You want to cut the ends off the shadow benny and then give it a rough chop. Then peel about 10 cloves of garlic. Add the garlic and shadow benny to a mortar and pestle and pound it into a paste. Now you could go ahead and use a food processor here for this step, but I like the way a mortar and pestle breaks down the garlic and the herb. It could all be in my head, but I feel like this technique extracts more flavor from these ingredients. Add a pinch of coarse sea salt in there as well for more abrasiveness, and this will help break down the garlic and the shadow benny even further. And after a few minutes and a little bit of elbow grease, we have our garlic and shadow benny seasoning here. And to prep the chicken breast, you want to place some cling wrap on our work surface and rest the breast on it, and then cover it with another piece of cling. And use something heavy like a rolling pin to flatten out the chicken breast. This tenderizes the meat and allows it to soak up the seasoning much more quickly into the flesh. And that results in the meat taking even less time to marinate. Add the chicken breast to a Ziploc bag and then add the seasoning. And the amount of pepper you use is totally dependent on your tolerance level. Also be mindful when adding salt here, as we already added salt to the green seasoning. You want to toss everything together in the bag and massage that seasoning into the chicken and then set it aside. Now you could put this in the fridge if you're going to make these sandwiches later. If not, it's fine if you leave it out. Now we're going to make a honey and garlic aioli or a honey and garlic mayo. You want to separate 6 egg yolks from the whites. And for me, the easiest way to do this is to crack the egg and then let the whites slip through your fingers and the yolk will remain in your hand. You want to add the yolks to a blender and blend low for about 30 seconds. Add a teaspoon of lemon juice or vinegar, and this will help stabilize our aioli. You also want to add 2 cloves of chopped garlic, and then you want to stream in half a cup of olive oil. Now the key here is to make sure that you add the olive oil slowly into the mixture while it's blending. This will cause the oil and the eggs to emulsify. Basically, we're making our own mayonnaise from scratch. Once the mixture thickens and is homogeneous, transfer to a bowl, and you want to season with a pinch of salt and black pepper to taste, and then mix in about 2 to 3 tablespoons of honey, depending on how sweet you want this. And the sweetness here is really going to balance off some of the heat from the scotch bonnet pepper. Time to prep our chicken for frying. You want to dredge the pieces of chicken in flour, making sure to shake off any excess flour so it doesn't clump up. You want to beat 1 egg and then toss the chicken in the egg. I wanted to go for a real crispy chicken here, so I'm using panko breadcrumbs, but you could also use regular breadcrumbs as well. Of course, you want to season the outer layer of the chicken as well, so I add in a pinch of salt and some scotch bonnet pepper powder to the panko. You want to make sure and coat each piece of chicken thoroughly in the seasoned panko and place on a rack to get ready for the frying phase of the operation. Bring your oil up to temperature in a wok or a frying pan And the great thing about this chicken is that it don't take long to cook at all. Each piece will fry for about 5 minutes total, nothing longer than that. And as you can see here, we have some beautifully crispy and well seasoned fried chicken. Now unfortunately I wasn't able to find any brioche buns, so we go in with regular hamburger buns. But of course, I want to butter it and give it a toasting. And because we separated the egg whites from the yolks and I do believe in wasting, I'm also going to fry the egg whites and add it to the sandwich. And of course, no sandwich like this is complete without fresh ingredients, so I'm going in with some local butterhead lettuce that I got from Market Movers and some sliced purple onion. Add a decent helping of the honey garlic aioli to the bread on either side. Add the fried egg white, the lettuce, chicken, onion rings, and boom, that is it right there, you know. And the thing about this sandwich is that we took our time and put care and effort into making the key components, so there's no need to add any other craziness like ketchup or mustard. The flavors and textures are well thought out and perfectly balanced. So I did a side-by-side comparison to the store-bought spicy chicken sandwich, and well, homemade wins hands down. There really isn't a real comparison to be made here. See what is happening?
Chalk and cheese.
Yeah, you know, yeah. So,
Go in.
you know.
The
No
egg.
comparisons. See what happening here? Yeah, man. Chalk and cheese. And they say self-praise is no recommendation, but I really had to toot my own horn on this one. This is our winner. If you like this recipe, please give the video a thumbs up and give it a share. And if you do try it at home, post your photos to Instagram, Twitter, and tag us. Really would love to see it. As always, the full recipe is on eatahfoodtt.com. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please take a moment to do so. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.